way we do it is an interaction as we're doing, as we're concluding. Thank you so much. As we're concluding, yes. So you're talking about something as we're concluding to say,
yeah,
yes, you think Zimbabwe is there?
Yeah, I think, the role that technology and ICT in particular can play to transform Zimbabwe is incredible. It's enormous. I've been quite pleased to hear some of the topics Minister that you're prioritizing. Those are the right issues to prioritize. It is from my own experience, if I think about what are some of the things that I see from my travels around the world and seeing how other countries are doing, I would prioritize a few things for Zimbabwe. I think it's important to address some of the digital infrastructure gaps and challenges, because without digital infrastructure that works incredibly well, it's available to everybody, to students, to entrepreneurs, to businesses, to the government, and none of the things that we want to do with information technology will work. So I think the role of digital infrastructure is really fundamental. I think it's also important to focus on creating a real innovation ecosystem in Zimbabwe. There's a lot of talented young people in Zimbabwe. I mean, one of the things that Zimbabwe doesn't have a shortage of is smart, talented, interesting, entrepreneurial young talent. But we have to be able to try to enable them to do what they want to do. I think part of having them have access to infrastructure, access to resources will make a big difference. So I think focusing on an innovation ecosystem and hubs, I think it's extraordinary. I've seen what other countries have done in countries like Rwanda, Ghana, and so forth, have been able to create very vibrant innovation ecosystems. We should be able to create something like that in Zimbabwe. I'd also say I think the role of skills, education, and learning is very, very important. I think we have to try to make sure we're creating a rich enough pipeline of skills all the way from primary school, where kids learn to understand all the technology so that they can grow in these technologies. But again, part of that will require that they have access to infrastructure and tools and devices. I was just saying to the minister that in other work we've done some work looking at digital printers, which is what is it that makes a big difference, especially in developing countries, to be able to take advantage of technology. And three things come up. One is low digital infrastructure. The other is also reducing the cost of getting online. So the data costs, the cost of getting online. Most African countries have very, very, very high data costs. I'm sure lots of students and entrepreneurs will complain about the expense of data packages. So I think solving the data costs, I think, is an important thing. And then finally, I think there's an issue around the cost of devices. Devices are very expensive. A lot of the devices students and others need to use are very expensive. So if there's anything that the government can do and others can do to help address these issues, I think Zimbabwe can capitalize on all these opportunities. And I think having government and others play an enabling role and have policies that are enabling and enable Zimbabwe to participate. I was just saying to the minister at the very end when we walked in that I don't see any reason why Zimbabwe cannot be one of the regional hubs in this part of Africa for both entrepreneurs, innovators, and many others, including investors who are wanting to come and help launch things from Zimbabwe. It can be an extraordinary digital hub for the region. Anything else?
Thank you. And for me, I think that's important that we highlight some of the key issues that we talk about. We are very happy and excited that we have put one of our own having such a position, an influential position here in the ICT sector. And we really want to thank you very much that you're there representing us. And for us as Zimbabwe, we need to tap onto that expertise, and we are also there to also look at how we can then be able to also incorporate in your knowledge and your expertise in terms of creating policies that are relevant in the whole ICT context, where we are also going to see what other jurisdictions are doing and also be able to implement in Zimbabwe. It's also important for us to look at what our president is talking about, that we don't need to leave anyone in any place behind. So what we need to do is for us to make sure that we create policies, we create a conducive environment that is there to make sure that it enables every person in the ICT sector to thrive and to do well. I also mentioned that it's on us having cloud computing services, which we're saying that you also offer, and you rightfully mentioned that you're coming here in your own capacity. And for us, we're very grateful because of that. Just you taking your time to also interact with us, and we're saying we're hoping that we'll have more interactions with you, and also at the same time make sure that at least we create an environment for young people to be able to learn from you. And when you look at the startups, it's important for us as a country. We're looking at us coming up with right policies that will also enable investment and also create a technology pact that we also rightfully mentioned, where we can see us coming up with all ICT companies being housed in one place, where they can actually be able to also interact, be able to also share and have experience exchange. And I think that is what is important. That knowledge is important for us, for the citizens of Zimbabwe, and we are happy that you're saying anytime that you're going to be coming through, also be able to also invite you to also come on our Indaba, our ICT annual Indaba that we're hoping to do in September. And of course, that is if you're able to then be able to come through. But I'm happy that we had to speak about that. We also spoke about the issue of infrastructure devices, which are also critical. We have got our own company here, Zitco, and what we need to do is for us to communicate with device manufacturing companies, and we see if we can then be able to have that arrangement so that the cost of devices is also then put into place. You realize that we cannot talk about anything smart if we're not going to look at us as seeing how we can work towards devices which are quite affordable for the citizens of Zimbabwe. Let me also hasten to say, as Zimbabwe, we are also working on us coming up with a good e-learning strategy. You have got Google Scholar that you have. Let's step onto that. Let's see how it can be relevant to the citizens of Zimbabwe, to the young people, all the students which are there. I think it will also assist us. And again, we're also working together with the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, so that at least we can then be able to come up with sound innovations in the tech space. And for us, we really want to learn from you. We really want to continuously be able to engage you, so that at least even if it means we're coming up right now, we're working on an e-commerce strategy. We're also working on an electronic transactions bill. We are also working again on reviving our Post and Telecommunications Act. This will be mandated by our President, His Excellency Dr Manyika, to make sure that at least we see how we can revamp it so that we can digitalize Zimbabwe in line with us digitalizing towards 2030. And he has said we need to accelerate it and make sure that we do it by 2028. So we're very excited, we're very happy that you've come through, and we will have more interactions with you. We will see how the young people, the startups are going to also learn from you, and we can even create these platforms where you can then be having this constant interaction. For now, it doesn't need you to be physical. You mentioned that you are more on your Gmail, you communicate more on that. So we'll be able to communicate, of course, using Zoom. We will communicate on that and have all these interactions so that at least virtual platforms are also critical so that we have those interactions with you. But I'm very happy that I know there's an interaction in Victoria Falls, and here you're also coming to meet with us, the ICT Ministry. And we're very happy and we're so excited because we know we're going to learn from you. So thank you very much.
No, thank you for being here. As I said, I'm here in my personal capacity as a proud son of Zimbabwe, and it's always wonderful to come home and see the exciting things that young people are doing. And that's very energizing. I think we have to do this with young people, and with the incredible talent in this country, and very smart students, young people, spending time with some of them. I think we have to do this for them. It's their future that we're trying to enable, and let's not let them down.
And I think we really need to thank you for that. That you are there to take your time to say you want to also empower the young people of Zimbabwe in the tech space. And you are available to also make sure that you're there to
I have a day job in this time.
Of course.
I'm doing this in my personal time. I have a day job.
Of course. So we're just happy that at least you've managed to say that you'll be able to assist us in that route. And indeed, thank you very much. The PS maybe have got something to say as we conclude.
Just trying to extend our appreciation to Dr Manyika. Thank you for the new technology concepts. For us as Zimbabwe,